So here's our final sample question for our first unit. It's another word problem. I told you there's going to be 3 of them on the test. You should get 2 consecutives, 1 regular one. Let's just take a moment to read the problem going from left to right. It says the sum of 3 consecutive even integers is 48 less than twice the smallest of the 3 integers. Okay. Did you hear a danger word? Did you hear the word from? Did you hear the word than? Yes. Box in the danger word. Remember, we're going to pivot. So here's the equal sign. So this is where I'm going to start by taking the 48 and move it behind the word than. Now the question is, how much do you move to the front? Twice the smallest of 3 integers. All of this will go to the front because there's no other equal sign. There's no comma. You got a period. That will tell you when to stop flipping. Okay? Now that I have the little pivot, so I know when I rewrite, I'm going to write this backwards. I'm not going to start with 48. I'm going to start with twice the smallest. Now let's go to step 2. Determine what type of consecutives are we doing. So notice it says 3 consecutive even integers. Okay, for the last time, we're going back to this chart. Determine, are we going to do the black line or the red line? Notice it gave us the condition even, so I'm going to use this bottom line. Notice it's x, x plus 2, x plus 4. Since it said 3 consecutives, not 2 consecutives, but 3 consecutives, I'm using all 3 of these guys. If it said 2 consecutives, then you only do the first 2. Okay? So make sure you know that this crosses out to be x, the first integer, x plus 2 for the second integer, and x plus 4 for the third integer. Because remember, we're dealing with 3 of them. Now we can go to step 3, translate key buzzwords. You know when I have the word sum of, boom, cross this out. This is going to be the plus symbol. Is, we talked about that before. That's your equal sign. Less, that's your subtraction symbol. Twice, that always means we're going to multiply 2 times. So we're going to put 2. And then smallest of the 3 integers. All that means is, look at this chart. Determine which one is the smallest. Not x plus 4, because anytime you add stuff, you get bigger. The plain x. This long phrase just means x. That's all it means, because it wants the smallest. Okay? If you want to put this in parentheses because we have that word small, you can. Because we don't like that symbol, we either use parentheses, or you might know that 2 times x is going to be 2x. However way you see it. Now that most of this is crossed out, we ask ourselves, do we have the danger word and, A and D? No. So then I can start translating. Don't start with the plus symbol, because remember, we usually start with a constant or a variable or a coefficient. So I'm going to add something, but I'm not going to put the plus sign yet. What am I going to add? The 3 integers. This plus this plus this. Remember, sum. So it's going to be x plus 2 plus x plus 4 equals, not the 48. Remember, we're going to start off with twice x. Remember how I said use parentheses? I don't like that symbol when I write equations. Subtract the 48. See how it pivot? 48 went behind the subtraction symbol, and this stuff went in front of the subtraction symbol. Now that this is written out, solving. Focus on the left. Do I have any parentheses? No. Do I have any like terms? Yes. We have this, and this, and this. They're all variables. Do we have any like terms as constants? Yes. You'll see that if I'm adding all three consecutive integers, we're going to get that same pattern. X plus x plus x, understood 1, understood 1, understood 1. They're all positives. You can see how I'm going to get 3x again. And 2 and 4, 2 positives, add. Who wins the tug of war? 4, team positive. Over here, you know what 2 times x looks like, 2x. Is there any other like terms? Coefficient, variable, constant? No. Now we're going to go to the labeling. This is the variable side. This is my constant side. Why? 2 versus 3, this is larger. This 6 you can move over, so the opposite of a positive 6 would be subtract 6. This is the only time that I do the opposite, when I'm picking up the constant or picking up a variable and moving it to the other side. Now these two negatives you add, and we know team 48 is going to win. So we're going to get negative 54. Now this 2x you need to move over because it doesn't belong on the constant side. Additive inverse, since I'm picking it up and moving to the other side of the equal sign, would be a negative 2x on both sides. This cancels out. 3x negative 2x is just 1x. And over here we just have negative 54. Now because this is a 1, we don't have to do the divorcing, because 1 times x is x. If you want to divide this side by 1 and divide that side by 1, you'll still get negative 54. Now the question is that your final answer? Well, look at this last statement. Find the integers. If the question said find the smallest integer, then x, yep, that would have been your answer. But this says I want integers. How many? 3 of them. What would they be? Start off with the x. So, there's my first integer, negative 54. To get to my next integer, I'm going to have to add 2 to the x. Okay? So if you add 2, remember, a negative and a positive, you secretly have to subtract. Okay? Negative 54, that's the x. Add 2, negative, positive, subtract. Who wins the tug of war? You're going to have team negative. And our final guy, x, and then add 4. So if I know x is still negative 54, add a positive 4, and then when you get this, a negative and a positive, different. Who wins the tug of war? Team negative, 54 players versus 4, that wins. So there's your third integer. There's the 3 of them. Smallest to largest. Remember, why is that largest? Think of money. Would you rather owe someone $54, owe someone $52, or owe someone $50? I'd rather owe someone just $50. I'm greedy. I picked the largest amount. That's the largest out of these 3 integers. We need them to be consecutive, even. And notice they're all even integers. 4, 2, 0. They all end in a even number.